And, during that time we couldn't really meet or anything. So I just, I was trying to get the other guys involved in doing, utilizing this time to like, do like home recording and stuff, and just kind of like email ideas. And unfortunately that didn't really happen. So I just kind of decided to kind of do my own thing. Cool. And just get a bunch of, friends to help me out. My original idea was I was going to sing on some stuff, have some other singers and, guitar players and whatever. Mm-hmm. So, basically I had this song that I wrote with my buddy, Albert. And we had this song written like 10 years ago, but it was just a like very, very basic demo. So I was like, do you want to, maybe we got this time, maybe we'll do like a real version of this. And that's what happened. And we released it and it did really well. Good. And so how about we do a second one and then a third and then a fourth? And we would just release these singles, on streaming services. The idea was just to do one song a month, Cool. And just kind of turned into this, like a real band now. Hence the name. It wasn't really, that wasn't the original idea.
How did you come up with that?
Yeah, right. Yeah, you got to thank my parents for that. So the idea, I was like, what am I going to call it? I'll just call MonteCarlo and have a bunch of friends. But then it turned into a real band, and people who don't know me are just going to think of the car anyway. So
right.
So I kind of lucked out.
That's a nice car anyway. I mean,
yeah.
So, do you have a special songwriting recipe that you follow when you're writing?
No, not really. I mean, it always starts off because I play guitar, like rhythm guitar on all these songs. Mm-hmm. So it always started off with like an idea. Like sometimes I'll be driving to work and I'll just hear like some riff in my head. So I get my phone and just kind of like, I'll hum it into my phone and save it. Yeah. And when I get home, I'll, try to play what was in my head that I had recorded and everything. And, and then I just get it. Sometimes it's just like cruise control, it just kind of like writes itself. And then I go back and do the drums and bass, and then I'll send it to Albert, and he's like super quick with stuff. I mean, like the next day he'll have like a whole song lined out, and we go back and forth and, and change little things here and there. And then we get other people involved, to lay down the solos and clean things up and everything. But it's pretty simple, just starts off with a riff,
Right on. Any plans on touring, or do you do any live shows? What's coming for us in 22?
Well, yeah, the idea, like I said, it was basically just like a project, and we didn't plan on doing any live shows at all, but so we just kept on recording songs, and eventually just kind of turned into like a real band. So we did do a couple shows in November, just to kind of, get out there. And then we just did our third show just past Friday. So we do have pretty much like from here on out, we have like a couple gigs booked per month, and trying to get onto bigger slots, is trying to pick up like where I left off with Mach 22, I guess.
Absolutely. So do you have any pre-show rituals that you go through that you gotta touch the doorway, or you got to drink, your a green Gatorade before you go on stage, or is there anything kooky or crazy you have to do before a show?
No, not really. I'm not really like superstitious like that, so I don't really like do stuff like that. But I am like kind of paranoid about, like, I always feel like I'm forgetting something,
shit, like, my sticks,
or like I had this fear of like forgetting one of my drums, like my bass drum, like I can't play with that. So I mean, awesome. I check, believe me, I'm like I'm so paranoid with that stuff. I check everything like a half a dozen times, make sure like, you know, I have like this fear that it's just going to like vanish out of my car or something like magic.
Yeah. I don't need to borrow your back line, but do you have a bass drum?
Just in case, right? Because it might just disappear, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm very cautious with making sure I have everything, because that's like the worst thing, like getting to a gig and, you know, forgetting something, like, you know, forgetting the merch or whatever.
Yeah, I had a couple of or one band, the drummer left all his cymbals at my house. On the way to California. They were already in Los Angeles.
Man.
Oh.
Every single one of his cymbals were here in Albuquerque, and I was like, it's a good thing I'm gonna be out there in a couple of days, man. So, but yeah,
right.
Dude.
Yeah, I mean, and that's a necessity. That's something that you need, you know. It's just like you know, usually you could do without, you know, you forget your snare drum, usually the other band has something, but you know, like cymbals, that's like a touchy thing. You know, a lot of times drummers don't want to let the other guy use that, you know, but it's like a personal thing, you know.
Yeah, no, it's a very personal thing. Yeah, you learn that real quick too.
Yeah.
I want to jump in with a very quick question for you, Damien, because I know you're a huge fan, but I want to know what your favorite Kiss song is.
Oh man, okay. This is easy. It's probably I'm okay. I'll ask you a question first. What's the probably the worst Kiss song? Because that's probably my favorite one. It's like 95% of the people always pick this song as the worst Kiss song ever, and it's my favorite one.
I'm not going to shun you for any song because I love Kiss as well.
Okay.
My favorite song is World Without Heroes.
Okay, yeah, that's a great one.
That's what most would call their worst album. So
yeah. Okay, so you got that. So my favorite song is probably the worst song. It's Let's Put the X in Sex. And it's like, you know, it's the worst song. Look, I'm not telling you it's if somebody says that song is awful, I'm not going to argue with you. But to me, it's just like a stupid fun song. It's like
it is fun.
You know, it's I could picture
like
all the dance moves and
shit.
Yeah. You know, same thing. So that's my favorite Kiss song.
I would have never expected that, man. Totally, dude.
Yeah, I mean,
expecting something like I Was Made for Loving You or something, you know, from the disco era.
Yeah, something weird. I mean, it's that simple. Like that's like, it takes me like not even a second to even mention that.
I freaking love that song. That's why I'm laughing so hard. I'm like, dude, I dig that song.
Yeah, right.
That's a great fucking answer. Yeah.
Why that was like I think that was like the first Kiss record I got, I think, was that one. So like those two songs, like I remember them doing an interview in Hip Parader, and Paul was talking about those two songs, you know, You Make Me Rock Hard and Let's Put the X in Sex, and it had the lyrics in there and everything in the back of Hip Parader. And I don't know, I just always listened to that back then because it was my only Kiss tape that I had. And I actually prefer those versions of the songs too. They're like all remixed, like Deuce and all that. And you know, I kind of like the way they sound. Probably, you know, again, it was like ingrained in my brain, like those versions. So that's like what I prefer.
How
probably
old
why I like that.
How old were you when you got
that? Probably like 12, I think.
Yeah, that's the age, man, right there, dude. You get a copy of you know, something and it just it ingrains in you, man. It's like, fuck.
Right. I know. I mean, a lot of people, you know, a lot of friends of mine, they kind of, you know, laugh at, you know, what their interest when they were, you know, at that age. But for me, those were like my favorite movies, all my favorite music, bands, songs, everything is all from like that age, you know, when I was like 9 to like 14 or something, you know. I still love that stuff. I don't think it's funny. It's just, you know, it was a great period of my life, and I still love that, you know.
Yeah, man. Hell yeah. That's a great answer, dude. Good question, John.
Come on, Charlie. You know I have to bring Kiss up if I can.
I mean, yeah.
Always got to squeeze it in,
yeah. John and I have a not really a feud over Kiss, but like I don't, yeah, it's a whole thing.
Yeah, it's a love-hate thing. You know, I definitely get that. It's not
it's not Kiss, it's Gene. It's Gene.
It's Gene.
Yeah.
What's with fucking bass players, man?
His name cost us $20 million. Good job.
I know. My bad.
Like, yeah, I mean, I definitely get it. I mean,
yeah,
those guys, you know, their personalities, it is what it is. I don't really take them too seriously. I think a lot of it is like an act.
Yeah, you
can't.
You know,
if you do, then you don't get it.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
Exactly.
On top of your old 12-year-old influences, is there people now that you listen to that you weren't listening to back then that influence your style of play now?
Man, that's a good question. I mean, there were some bands that I didn't like back then that I actually really like now. I don't know about so much if they've influenced me, but like I hated White Line when I was a kid, and Vito Bratta is probably like my favorite guitar player now,
oh yeah,
you know? And I am a big fan of that band. I think they were different than everything else that came out, like lyrically, like they didn't really, you know, their songs weren't about partying and all the cliches and stuff. They're more like kind of like political in a way, like, you know, their lyrics are about things that are going on in the world, and
like real humanitarian,
you know, yeah, you know,
for
like
sure.
a Little Fighter, and you know, When the Children Cry and stuff like that, and you know, just like really good lyrics. And you know, musically, I thought Vito Bratta was like, you know, so underrated, man. Amazing player.
Yeah. I remember seeing a live show of White Lion on TV, and I had never really even paid attention to Vito Bratta or anything like that. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this guy, he is like freaking amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I was just in awe. I was like, he is really doing that. He reminds me so much of, I want to say Eddie, just how there is, he does all the fills, and there's not a whole lot of rhythm playing. It's a whole bunch of I don't even know how to describe it. I mean, extreme, I know exactly rhythm one that is that way. Where if you were going to lyrically follow that guitar, you couldn't.
Yeah, right. It's almost like it's almost like another voice, like what he's doing with the guitar. It's
absolutely
almost like a vocal melody line. It's like he's doing that on a guitar. It's not your typical rhythm guitar stuff, you know?
Yep.
It's like really interesting playing. Like it's like what Eddie took, he kind of took it to like the next level.
Yeah.
And you know, like Nuno is sort of like very similar style like that too, you know?
Yeah. I'm really disappointed. I'm not hearing from Vito, or Vito just dropping out, you know. He had so much going on, you know. He still sits at home and just,
I know, he just
he just
dropped it. I mean, it's you know, but everything I've heard, it's like, you know, he did it for the right reasons, you know. It's his, you know, people say family comes first, you know, but he really meant it. I mean, I know he took care of his parents, you know, all these years, and at this point, you know, I guess why come back at this
time,
you know? I guess he kind of just wants to leave it as is, and you know,
probably,
you know, like people come back after, like look at Jakey Lee. He didn't do anything for years. He comes back, and there was some naysayers and everything, but hey, man, you know, it's like I'm just happy to see him out there playing again. You know?
Yeah, hell yeah, most definitely.
So, what new bands are you listening to? Is there anything out there on your radar?
Some bands I discovered on the Monster Rock cruise. Like there's a newer band called Nestor. They're from Sweden.
Oh, cool.
And
John's writing it down. I saw that, John.
They're really good.
He's got his notebook.
I think you'll like them. They're a total 80s, you know, 80s throwback band. They have a lot of keyboards if you're into that. This real melodic, you know, commercial sound. The band. I don't even know like what they would Sort of like Bon Jovi, I guess, old Bon Jovi in a way, you know, like Slippery When Wet. Or, yeah, them. I saw them on the cruise. They're amazing. They blew me away. They're actually, you know, they've been around for a little while, but I saw them on the cruise, and it's phenomenal. I mean, I saw them on the 2020 cruise, and I was listening to nothing but Heat nonstop every day for months straight.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah.
Right, definitely those two.
If somebody was to look at your Spotify playlist, what would you be embarrassed of? Like, wait, don't go into that one.
You can't like make him call something out like that. They watch him and be like,
I mean, we've got Air Supply. I mean, on ours.
Yeah, you know, I like. We listen to like a lot of yacht rock and stuff during the summertime when it's
right,
you know,
right.
We're just kind of like chilling out, you know, having a few drinks. It's sunny out, it's real nice, so we put the yacht rock on.
Yeah.
So that's kind, you know, I never thought I listened to I don't know, man, some of that stuff I'd be, you know, I would never tell anybody I listened to you know, Michael McDonald, or I can't even think of Kenny Loggins or something, you know,
right,
like shit like that. But you know, at the end of the day, a good song is a good song, you know.
You're exactly right. You're exactly right.
That's the thing. I was just actually talking with somebody the other day about like guilty pleasures, like music or something, you know, something like that. And I'm like, you know, for me, it's such a weird statement, because if it's a pleasure of mine, like I don't feel fucking bad. Like it's a fucking cool, like it's a cool song. Like fucking, I was playing, we were sharing the fucking Spotify at work the other day, and fucking I had Juice Newton. You guys yeah. And that was in one of mine, and it fucking went on, and they kind of looked at me, and I'm like, fuck it, I like it, dude. Fuck you.
Yeah, I got a lot, you know, there's a lot of stuff like that, you know, like you know, a lot of like we went to Nashville a couple years ago, so I kind of, that when I came home, it kind of took me down this old school country rabbit hole, you know. So like Johnny Paycheck, dude, that's like, he's like one obscure like outlaw country guy. I got really into him. And but it's like stuff that I had never thought that I would ever like. Actually, you know, when I don't listen to the radio that often. It's usually like I listen to the satellite radio, but when I do listen to terrestrial radio, there's like an R&B station in Philly that I listen to, and it's like all 80s kind of like Bobby Brown, New Edition stuff. It's like, I don't know, it's like dumb. Again, it's like fun.
It's just
good music, you know.
Good is good, man.
Yeah,
it really is. I mean, just like we had a guest on last week. I was like, I freaking love blues now, man.
Yeah,
right.
Like, holy shit.
Yeah.
I never thought I would just get into it like I did with him. He was so phenomenal. But good music is just good music. I mean, it was really cool. It was really cool.
Man, there's a lot of.
I told you guys he was good and he sang blues.
You're right.
Yeah, man. But like you said, a good song is a good song. I mean, yeah, definitely, dude. So,
yeah, when I was younger, I would never, you know, I'd always turn my head up to that stuff. Was that, man? I'm not listening.
Yeah, you try to be tough.
You know, metal. You know,
try to be cool. Yeah, like I'm not gonna listen to that. No. Yeah,
Juice Newton or something.
Yeah, Nickelback.
Yeah, that I don't like. Can't get into that stuff.
Yeah.
What elements of a song do you think makes it a hit?
Well, you definitely need that hooky chorus. I mean, that's the most important thing, you know.
Yeah.
Like a lot of our songs, pretty much all of our songs are under 4 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So you know, you could get in and out in 3.5 minutes. You know, it's we don't have long, you know, minute and a half long intros. You know, don't bore us, get right to the chorus. You know, that old saying. So you definitely need like something that people are going to be able to sing along to, and and
Right.
stick in their head after.
Kind of like the X and Sex.
Exactly right. I mean, as bad as it is, you can't
you're
forget
right.
it.
I love the hooks, and I can't. I don't care what anybody says. Everybody freaking loves to sing along because they want to be that karaoke star. They want to do. Everybody wants to do it.
That's the truth. So hey, I got a weird, like, kind of off the wall question, but it was when you were talking about like writing songs earlier. Is there a song that was just like, and it's kind of a weird question, but like, is there a song that was like kind of a pain in the ass to write? Like it just didn't fall together very fast or like kind of very smooth, but ended up being a really great song later?
Man, I don't know. It's
that's kind of weird, but
yeah, I'm trying to think. Everything has really come pretty quick. I mean, there was a few stuff. There's some stuff that we had that we never even finished because it just kind of felt like it was, it just wasn't coming along. So we just kind of like push it aside. But those things you always revisit.
Okay.
6 months down the road or a year or whatever, and maybe something will spark a new idea. But yeah, usually if nothing, if something isn't clicking, we just kind of move on to something else, and eventually it will, because if not, then it kind of feels like forced, like you're trying to force it, and then it kind of doesn't feel right,
Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Charlie.
No, I was just that makes total sense. Yeah, man.
Kind of bouncing off of that, how do you know when a song is finished? Is it 3 chorus or 3 verses, or is it 4 verses? When is the song done?
Yeah, we just go by we always stick to like the simple formula, 2 verses, solo, verse, solo. I mean, verse, chorus, solo, chorus, maybe like some outro or something. I mean, there's no
works,
we're not trying to like do dream theater type stuff. But so I mean, there's been times where we thought something was finished and we go back and I was like, maybe I think it kind of needs something more, and we would go back and maybe add something. So I guess it's a case by case basis, but usually we know when we keep on listening to the song over and over, and it's like we become fans of our own stuff, which is Absolutely. That's usually when I know it's we got it.
Right on. Yeah, that makes sense. All right, so if you could play in any other band, a current band, it doesn't matter. What band would it be, and what would you play?
Well, it could be like a real band, or like some fantasy situation. Well, I'd probably put myself in Kiss. I'd fire Eric Singer, and I'd probably jump in.
There you go.
But throw me in. I'll jump in the DeLorean and I'll go back to like 1973, and I'll wait for Peter Criss to roll up and meet them, and then I'll like shove them in a trash can or something.
Like, I'm your drummer.
Right, that's how it would go down.
I'm your drummer now.
I'm the guy you talked to on the phone.
Makeup on. It's like, I'm ready.
Yeah, I'm the guy you talked to.
Perfect look.
You got the gig.
Exactly. That's badass. Yeah, that's funny, dude.
Hey, do we have a little sound clip to play? Maybe, Randy?
I think we do.
Like, we should at least get a little song in, like, play a little music, the little bit we can.
I agree.
We keep getting right.
Well, that was actually that was actually an older song that was written maybe 10 years ago, and I was always
Holy
like,
cow.
it's not quite right. So, we revisited that and kind of changed some things, and that's one of those things that was kind of like set aside, and
it
it
came
didn't
back.
feel right. Yeah. Then we kind of revisit that, many years later, and turn into what it is now.
Cool.
Yeah. Sounds nice to me, man.
Which that's going to be, we have this an actual like full length record coming out, I hope by the end of next month. So that will be on there. It'll be 10 tracks, I think. 9-10 tracks.
So real quick before we get out of here too, where can we find everything about you and everything that you've got, man?
Well, Facebook will probably lead you everywhere. So just type up MonteCarlo the band.
Yeah.
Some reason Facebook won't let me use MonteCarlo. So I had to put the band on there. So, but we have links to our Instagram. We have a YouTube page. Actually, I have a podcast with Bert the singer.
Oh, nice.
Mixtapes and Tasty Cakes. So we put everything on YouTube, and all the music, all the all of our videos. It all lives on that page. So
nice.
So we actually call it Dan Bert Entertainment. So, but if you type out MonteCarlo Animal, that's a video we have on there. You'll see podcasts and all that stuff. So
sweet, man.
Cool. Well, thank you, Damien. It was great to see you, man.
Yeah, likewise.
And appreciate it, man.
Yeah, if you're anywhere in New Mexico, Kansas, or Oklahoma, let us know.
We'll do. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, dude. Yeah, man. Fucking thank you so much, man. And come back anytime you got something to push, or you just want to.
We'll do. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, bro. All
right, guys. Take it easy.
Have a good one.
You too. Thanks.
All right, man. That was fucking.
That's the way it's supposed to work.
That flew by so fast, man. That was so cool, dude.
It's really weird when it works the way it's supposed to work.
Yeah, it is. It's like what's going on?
What's happening? It's working. Cool. But thanks to Damien for fucking hanging out with us for the whole fucking 30 minutes, dude. I would appreciate that. And it was a lot of good info. And I mean, like, you just talk to some people, man, and it's just like just fits right in the conversation, man. Bam.
Yep.
I looked down at the clock and I was like, we should play a song.
Yeah, and I'm glad you did.
Well, what's going on, man?
Hey everyone, how are you?
Good. See, I told you, his hair. I love it.
Yeah, well, it means Zoom calls are very difficult because I have to figure out the right distance of the screen to fit all of it in.
Well, as you can tell, we're all follically challenged. So,
with that great start, I want to start with my story, Randy. Years ago, I believe it was your debut album, self-titled. And a friend of mine, we'd always have after hours at the house. And they were like, hey, do you got any new CDs I should check out? And I'm like, oh, you got to check these guys out. They're from New York. And she opens it up and she starts looking at the pictures and she goes, of course, every band you tell me to listen to has better hair than me. And I'm like, that's what I do. So, I never got that CD back, by the way.
I guess we can kind of introduce ourselves. I'm Randy. I'm in Oklahoma City.
I'm Charlie. I'm in New Mexico, Albuquerque, to be exact.
And I am John. I am in Topeka, Kansas.
Cool. Well, I'm Chris. I'm in New York. I live on Long Island, so that's why I mispronounce most of my words.
Oh, man. Yeah. We had done an interview, me and my wife, with you guys at Rocklahoma one time. And I remember you were calling, dude, we're running a little late. And I was like, it's okay. It's all right. And you come running into the media tent like frenzied. And I'm like, dude, we're on Rocklahoma time. Just sit down.
I remember correctly. So that was it's 2013, right?
I think so.
So that was like Rocklahoma was like the first major anything we've ever played. Like, you know what I mean? Like just the biggest thing we had done yet. And the idea of an actual coordinated press tent was so professional and exciting to us. But unfortunately, the press times were like something like 15 minutes after we get off stage. So it was like I think at one point I threw my guitar and I was like running, you know, so there was like a lot of stress that day.
Yeah, that was some crazy stuff. I noticed that too. They had the board of when everybody was going to be in the tent. And I was like, aren't they playing right now? You know, it's kind of like, yeah, I think we could have used a little more work on that little setup there, but it all worked out. It all worked out. Great. So what do you have going on?
Well, we released our latest album in October, Perspective. And very weird thing to release during a worldwide pandemic, I will say. That's a new one. Let's never do that again. But you know, it's been interesting because we haven't been able to tour on it. And that is something that, you know, pre-2020 Chris Lane really couldn't fathom the idea of releasing an album without going out on the road and playing it, and not just from the standpoint of playing the songs, but actually just from like the idea of like going out, meeting people and selling the album.
Yeah.
But you know, I mean, not just us, obviously everyone, that was taken away from us. So it's been a very different experience releasing it. And it's been a little tough because, you know, with the way everything works online, social media, everything lasts for like 10 seconds. Yeah. So, you know, if you're on the road and like every night it's a start over, make the people listen to the songs, hopefully make them fans, bring them to merch, you know, all that. Now it's kind of like, I wonder if this post gets people excited about that song. And it's so disconnected and not human that I hate it. I miss being out, and I don't know. I just miss being this far away from someone and talking about the music, you know?
Right. And I've seen a lot of bands are releasing a whole bunch of singles instead of an album because the attention span is horrible. And you got to keep people, you know, if you release 10, here's 10, you know, and throw it in somebody's lap nowadays, you're probably, it's only going to last, like you said, 10 minutes. And, you know, so it's kind of hard that, you know, keeping people interested. And just like you said, well, here's another post. I hope this goes over, you know, that type of thing.
So in my opinion, and I don't know what the hell I'm talking about, so take this with a grain of salt, but like the biggest problem is that both sides of the industry work diametrically opposite of each other. Mm-hmm. So on one hand, a consumer, we'll say, someone who's going to buy the music, a fan, someone's going to listen to it. It doesn't matter if the album is out. It only matters if they know about it. So it's one of those things where it's like, from that standpoint, I see no reason to release an album that's got 50 songs on it. Because honestly, if I'm going to promote a new song for the next 50 months, okay, it's new to that person hearing it. So, and there are 7 billion people to try to get in front of this song. So like, I'll take it. But from the other standpoint, working with people to try to get the message out, if it's more than 3 months old, it's old. And you get into this kind of weird point about, are you working with like a gatekeeper mentality where it's like, well, I've got to try to release things in a way so that the machine that, you know, is the music industry, whatever, the different aspects of it can help me promote it.
Right.
Or, you know, in a band like us, who we sell physical product, and we're very lucky that fans, you know, have helped us with that. It's way more advantageous to release an album because we know that we're going to be able to sell it and move it. But we're shooting ourselves in the foot because now it's, what month is it? March. That's yesterday's news. So it's a very weird world. And like, you know, again, taking away touring was the one equalizer, because like I decide when we tour. So I could go out and be like, I'm going to talk to you about this album. And like, unless you leave the venue, there's nothing you can do about it. You know?
Right on. Oh man. So,
Well,
that is so true. I mean, I've never even thought of the two different sides. It's like being old news. You're right. 3 months old is a baby to you guys, but on the record side, it's kind of like, you know,
it's just the nature of how fast information travels nowadays. You know, I mean, I kind of compare it to like people in the 50s and the 60s getting their evening news. I mean, everyone's got a phone, right? And everyone's completely up to date on whenever the president sneezes. So like, you're like, oh, that's happened. And that's it, you know? So like, you can't compete with that kind of information and just expect everybody to just act the same way they used to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish we could just go back in time. It's like, why does this have to be so hard? And it's just been made so easy that it makes everything hard. Does that even make sense?
Well, it's just changed perspective on it because, you know, I grew up at a time when there was the internet, but it wasn't like it was today, right? Like when I was in college, I had a flip phone.
Yeah.
Okay. So I had technology, but it's progressing so quickly now that like people are just so used to that I think that a lot of people have kind of forgotten what it's like to savor.
Yeah.
And, you know, I have mixed feelings because, you know, on one hand, I'm totally guilty of loving my minute-to-minute updates of everything.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, you know, there's something magical about like just closing your eyes and just being engulfed in something for an hour and not needing constant pings and rings and bells and alerts and shit like that. So I don't know. I don't think it's necessarily bad. It's just different.
Yeah, it's such a double-edged sword, you know, with the technology. I mean, you know, there's so many good things, there's so many bad, you know, things that got, you know, but you got to take the good with the bad, and just hopefully the good outweighs the bad, and hopefully, you know, we can work on that. But yeah.
Hey, without technology, there would be no second, third, or fourth Station album.
Nope. We
right?
would. Well, so, yeah. I mean,
you know, we're not signed to a record label. We do it independently. If this were 1980 something, the amount of money needed to record that second album would have been insane, and that would never happen. So I mean, on that side, we're very blessed, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. We're able to do what we're doing right now as well. So
exactly.
and for everybody out there to go find your stuff, it's at stationband.com, correct?
Mm-hmm. That's our website, and all our socials are Station NYC.
Nice. Okay.
I was on there today trying to remember which album that I had before to tell the story the right way. And I was like, I got to remember that now. So I have another question for you, though, if you don't mind. I know you guys have played multiple different festivals in the past. Like Randy and I both for sure saw you at Rocklahoma one year. Mm-hmm. I also saw you at Rockin' Skull's pre-party one year in Pekin, Illinois at the Twisted Spoke Saloon.
Is that the one where the power went out?
Maybe.
Yeah.
I was there.
Well, that venue, we go back to that venue a lot. And I love the Twisted Spoke, but that show in particular, when the power went out, so, you know, it's like an electric band. The power stopped. We kept playing. People sang the song. And when the power came back on, we picked up right when the song was still going. And it was like the most magical thing ever.
Wow.
So is there like a favorite venue or place that you guys have played that you would love to go back as often as you could type place?
You know, yes. And I think it would probably be a different answer for each band member for different reasons.
Right.
I would have to say my favorite place that we've ever played was we played at Music Fest I think it's in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. And the stage we played on, it's like a festival, and the stage we played on has the backdrop of this like decommissioned steel mill. And it is the most surreal, insane looking stage venue I've ever been to. It's just so beautiful, and it looks like kind of weirdly like futuristic and dystopian in like this kind of like, you know, steampunk way. Yeah. It's just cool. And it's huge. I mean, it's stories high. So I would say that's probably one of my favorite places that we've ever played.
Very cool, man.
Randy,
So-
you were about to say something.
Oh, yes, I was. Boy, you could just read me. So that being said, doing the festivals and then also playing the clubs, what do you like more, the intimacy of the clubs or the festivals where you get to reach hundreds and potentially thousands of people?
So I'm gonna choose option C. I like playing theaters the most when I can meet people afterwards. The problem with clubs is, and this is like, club is a word that doesn't apply to any one venue because every place is different, right? The problem with smaller venues sometimes for us is that we like to move around and we like to put on a show, you know what I mean? Like you're into the music, we walk around, we play with each other, we do stuff. Right. Sometimes that's hard when it's this very small stage.
Yeah.
At festivals, it's almost the opposite problem where it's like a lot of people are watching you, which is great. But at the same time, unless they know you and they can sing all the songs, people are kind of half tuned in because that's just the atmosphere. Like a theater or something, when we've opened up for other people, it's great because, we've got an audience who's like sitting there watching the show. They're not doing anything else. And then it's a small enough kind of thing where afterwards we can meet them at the merch table. We can go out and say hi to people, and we can have that human interaction that we still like. A lot of the time at like festivals and stuff, the second you're done playing, people have to run to the other thing they're going to see. So you kind of lose out on, unless someone's like really dying to meet you, you lose out on that kind of like casual, oh, I want to meet the band afterwards and say hi or whatever.
Right. That's awesome. I never even thought about that. I like in the middle. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Awesome.
Yeah, it's just different, and every place is different. And one of the biggest things that I've always kind of found really influences the show is how the venue treats you. And we have been insanely lucky that we've worked with a lot of really cool people who have just done right and really been helpful to us,
Right.
Never piss off a sound guy, ever.
So what's your plans for the rest of 2022? I fixed it. 2022.
Well, assuming nothing else changes those plans, which I mean is like now month to month.
Yeah.
I know we're expecting a new strain soon.
Well, so we were going to tour in April, and we were going to do so the biggest problem for the band touring wise is that you can't book a real tour and cancel in the middle of it and still be financially okay.
Right.
So it's almost like fear that stops a lot of bands from touring, because you're just like, I just can't afford to have this taken away from me if God forbid someone gets sick, or that's the new thing. But the thing before that wasn't the sickness, it was sickness combined with local laws changing if you could perform. That was 2020. Then there was 2021 with sick. Now it's kind of like, well, like in New York, it feels like the mask mandate has been lifted. People are out and about with that. It feels very normal. And if that stays the same, I think that that's a good sign.
Yeah.
In December, things felt really normal in the first part of the month and then descended into hell really quickly. Yeah. And we were planning on touring in April, doing 4-day weekend kind of things to try to mitigate a long tour of not getting sick.
Well, that's cool. Yeah, that's good.
And we would have to do it in a way where it's we can only go probably as east as Ohio. We can go up to Maine, we can go south to Georgia, and we make a triangle. I don't know, early January, we canceled all our plans because there was just no sign that that was going to actually be feasible. Right. Come mid-February, things are fine again. And it's just, so we're talking about trying to do a real good old fashioned tour, probably at the end of the summer, early fall.
Cool.
Yeah. It's enough time to definitely see what happens. The real question is whether or not we have a new album that's almost done. Do we want to release more music before we tour or not? And that's a real head scratcher because there's a lot of factors that go into that. So we'll see. Yeah. But I can see Station getting back on stage for real by the end of the year for sure.
That's good. That's good news. I mean, yeah, we'll keep our fingers crossed, but it's such an unfortunate, weird, strange time that we're in right now. It's just everything is like you said a minute ago. It's like almost month to month, and now sometimes week to week. It's like, what are we doing? Yeah, it's unfortunate.
When other bands are touring, you got to, one of the things that we have to constantly deal with is that, we're not a band that's playing in venues that have all that space sometimes. So, I saw a lot of bands touring and they've got like people taking photos with them with like the plexiglass and stuff. Yeah. I mean, regardless of how you feel about that, there is no way we can bring plexiglass. And then there's the other conversation about having, our merch sellers. How do you feel about sending your merch seller into a crowd of people when they might not feel safe for whatever reason? And it's just like, that's another consideration now that I never thought I'd have to deal with, So yeah. It's just a lot of new problems that I don't know.
It is. It's like been a whole bunch of hurdles.
Yes.
It really has. And I never even thought of that. It's kind of like in our minds, it's kind of like, okay, everything's lifted. Why aren't the bands out there? You're absolutely right. It's kind of like you can't stop in the middle. You can't, it'll financially devastate you if you take off work and put all this money into this, and then a new mandate comes down and shuts everything down. You're absolutely right. And I wasn't even seeing it on that side. I'm just like, let the bands come. We're free.
I love playing shows. I love traveling to play shows. I don't love the actual travel itself. And I can tell you which my favorite rest stops are on every turnpike, and I can tell you, what I mean? Like we've done it so many times. The biggest fear is always like, if God forbid someone did get sick or you had to cancel your tour short. We're all based in the Northeast.
Mm-hmm.
What happens if that happens in Chicago?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And then you're dealing with the cost of gas right now, which is insane. And
crazy.
That cuts into profit right there. So like, there are all these variables that like, you just like, sometimes I'm not going to lie. I wake up in the morning and cause we do all this ourselves, and I just kind of be like, I just want to play the guitar. But
right. Why does this have to be so hard?
Yeah. Well, yeah. This is just a current event question. Where you're at right now, what is the average of gas right now?
So it's above 450. I filled up my car the other day. It was like $65. It's a lot. It's a lot.
It's 417 here or something like that. Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's
and don't forget, we have a bus, and the bus is not known for gas mileage. So
no, they're not.
we were joking about it. We were talking about just like what would have happened if we were planning to still go out in early April with the gas prices and how that would have eaten everything. And I was just joking. I was like, we'd have to do it acoustic because the instruments are too heavy to weigh the bus down.
Yeah.
Right on.
Hey, I think we got a song maybe queued up that maybe we could listen to before we part ways. Maybe.
Listening to.
Ashton? That's good stuff. See, that's fun. That's fun.
All our music. I mean, it's just happy music. I mean, we're not party crazy people. So like our music is just happy about the two most important things, love and not love. So I mean, like,
You guys just have such a clean melodic sound though. It's gorgeous.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
We're very lucky to have found each other because we're very in sync with what we like to sound like. There is no there's no internal struggle about the way it should come out of us. And I think it's because of the way our hair naturally grew out. And it's just like, we kind of like,
that's how we found each other too.
Yeah. Well, I tell people all the time, and they're always like, well, you know, with the style of music you play, you grew your hair like that. I'm like, oh no, it's the other way around.
Yeah.
Like, this is the way it came out. And I think that led me there, because I was like, yeah, this is where I belong. No, you know, we all like it, and we all kind of like, we do what we need to do to serve the song, and we trust each other in what the other brings. You know, we've always had a working relationship where we kind of view the songs as a representation of all of us. So if like Pat, like our singer Pat, has an issue with something that I'm playing on the guitar, he should tell me and we'll talk about it, because my guitar playing represents him as much as his singing represents me. And we've really never had an ego problem with that. We're very peanut gallery. We're very, you know, like everyone just talks to each other, you know.
That's good. That's good to hear for a band, especially, you know, sometimes you have egos clashing, or, you know, just different opinions on different styles. But yeah, that's groovy that you guys can just you guys mesh together that well. That's cool.
Yeah, we're just actually, that's been the hardest thing about the pandemic, is not even playing with my musicians, it's not seeing my friends.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that's been a real problem.
Yeah. Right on.
All right. Well, thank you, Chris. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. And if you have anything going on, new releases, just hit us up, man. Just go, hey, can I get like 10 minutes on the show? We're on every Wednesday, and we can slide you in.
That sounds great. Thank you.
Seriously, man.
We really appreciate you coming on. And, you know, if you get that tour coming up at the end of the summer, come back on and we'll promote the shit out of it for you, man.
I appreciate that, guys. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Chris.
I will see you soon.
All right, have a good one.
Everybody, that is Chris from Station. You can find their stuff at stationband.com. Go buy their new album, Perspective. They need to get on the road.
Yeah, man. Yeah, because dude, that's crazy. Like, that stuck out to me when he said, you know, they released an album, and then, you know, as bands do, they release an album and then they tour on that album, and then they didn't get a tour. That's fucking crazy, man. Like, I can't imagine that. That fucking sucks.
Yeah, I've learned a lot tonight. I really have.
Like, I've never really thought of it on the other side, because basically it's because we're being selfish for ourselves. We want to see live music.
Yeah.
Like, ultimately, that's what it is. Like, we're like, I need live music. But the bands are like, I ain't getting out there.
What the hell?
Like,
we wouldn't do it.
I totally get the way he said it, though, because I was like,
yep.
It never even hit my brain that that was an issue for them in that aspect.
Yeah.
I'm just like, why can't I just see live music? That's what I want.
Yeah.
Everything's open. Come on.
Come on.
Do it. Do it now.
We're going live.
Yeah, like, we're going live. Why can't they?
I know, man. So that's how we're supposed to do it, right?
Absolutely.
That's how it should have happened. Yep.
That's 100% how it's supposed to work out, guys. Both of our guests showed up. It was like boom, boom timing. We were there. We had a nice little gap in the middle, just for a little segue between. And let's give everybody a little insight to who's on next week.
Well, hold on, man. Shout out to fucking Hit Parader magazine, bro. Fucking.
Dude, I'm glad you said that. I got other things to mention.
When he brought that up, I was like, fuck yeah, dude. It's like fucking Hit Parader Circus.
Hit Parader.
Fucking, dude, shout out to the fucking 80s fucking metal magazines, dude. Yeah.
Metal Edge.
All right.
Metal Edge also has a online store again.
Oh,
you go to their Facebook, where I think it's probably metaledge.com. They're not printing physical copies of Metal Edge, but they are doing a online zine, I guess. A zine. I don't know the right word for that.
You're making up words again, John.
So it's gonna be a hit word. Yeah, something else I wanted to bring up tonight and during the show. I want to applaud Dolly Parton.
Oh yeah.
For bowing out off of the ballot from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
She
said she didn't feel worthy.
No.
I'm like, of all the crap that they throw out there, I think Dolly's probably worthy.
Yeah, and I'm like, you know what? Just because she did that, put her fucking in, man.
But I'm also like, I want to see more artists follow suit.
More should, because I would feel weird. Like if I was a rock and roll musician and I got fucking inducted into the Country Music Hall of Fame, I'd be like, what? Why? This is weird. I'm not country music. There's pop stars, there's R&B. I mean, it's right. I'm fine if they want to put those people in there, but just call it the Music Hall of Fame.
Yes, I've been saying that for years.
Stop calling it the rock and roll. Stop calling it rock and roll, because it's not all rock and roll.
Mostly, call it what it is.
Yeah.
And who voted on that? They know she's not.
There's like 5 people, and they're like, we should put this person in. I actually, there's like some sort of a panel of them,
people who don't fucking know the difference. They're the type of people who don't even listen to music, and there are people like that. There's fucking weirdos in the world like that.
I think that's the problem. It's just like this is one of those topics I never bring up. It's just like politicians. At this point, they're all 80 and they're still running the country.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't letting my mom try to run the country.
No.
No. Retire. Get out.
Exactly.
You have a flip phone. Stop it.
Yeah.
But she
does have a flip phone.
But Dolly Parton did write something. Right?
Sorry.
Didn't Dolly Parton? She was going to. She was actually thinking about making a rock and roll album.
That's cool. That was
and there's I saw a thing today that there's a producer that was already like, I volunteer to produce your rock and roll album for you. And I was like, there you go, it's gonna happen.
Do it. Yeah, because she's like 80 something, fucking why not?
And I don't want her running the country either.
No.
Like she can still make music, but don't run the country.
Yeah. If fucking Joe Biden was fucking making fucking country music, I might listen to it.
You couldn't understand it. It wouldn't make any sense.
Wouldn't make a fucking sense at all. But anyway, I digress.
I feel like we went way too far off topic, but we had to.
Who do we have next week?
I don't know.
I thought you knew.
I do.
Were you
know.
doing like a little throw to us and we, throw it back to you kind of thing?
Yeah.
No. Actually, I forgot, but I do know. We have the Ratchet Dolls next week because they're here next Tuesday.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't know if we have somebody else with them yet.
Fortune Child.
That's right.
There we go. We rescheduled Fortune Child. That's right.
Thank you to our guy in the chair, because I wouldn't have remembered that.
Yeah.
Sweet. Well,
I did totally space that one off, and I was like, "Oh my god, I'm going to see him on Tuesday, and then we have him on the show on Wednesday."
Hell yeah!
They're on a travel day, so.
Well, that's cool that we got that coming up, and then we have a guest that we promised in the past that will be with us at the very beginning of April, because they're going to be doing their fucking Fozzy Saves the World fucking tour. Crash Karma. We're going to have them April 6th, so that'll be fun. They'll be like just beginning their tour. I think they'll have like four shows in or something, maybe 3 or 4 shows in, and then we'll have them on, and then we can see what that's all about.
So if we don't have anybody else for April 6th, I take that back.
We'll talk about it.
We should already we should already have Sam from Midnight Devils, I think.
Okay.
Is that correct?
I don't know.
All right, we'll figure that out offline.
All right. When the world ain't watching us.
Yeah, right.
I don't have anything else. Fortune Child and who else next week?
Ratchet Dolls.
Ratchet Dolls. Fortune Child and Ratchet Dolls next week. I got nothing else. What about you guys?
No, I'm good.
Play us out.
Good things.
Play us out.
We bang your ugly friends too.